Okay, out here today doing some clipping of my wheat stubble and kind of getting the weeds mowed down with my Oliver Super 77 1957 model. I'll talk about that in a second. And my Co-op, you can read it here, Co-op E15B. And this a mowing machine was given to me probably 30 years ago by a good friend of mine, Gene Hunterlaw, who's passed away now. And it was made in Canada, as you can see here. And Co-op, Cockshut, and Oliver all kind of worked together to make both implements and tractors, and they shared a lot of parts and designs and everything. So this mower is very similar to an Oliver mower. That's why it can be used easily with this tractor. And you can see here it has sort of a unique hitch. You see how this hitch works? It works off the drawbar, attaches to a couple of different points, and has pivot wheels on the back, so it's a real compact unit, easy to turn, easy to get in and out of places. But Gene Hunterlaw, the guy that owned this, he was he always tinkered with his equipment. He could buy something new and a week later he'd be modifying it. So he modified this in several ways. One, he added a hydraulic cylinder to it, as you can see here, the one I'm using. And the way he did that was he cut off the handle, which lifted it. It actually worked off a spring, and then just made an attachment here to put on the cylinder. So works great, works fine. I think some of these, I've seen them in the past, they've had a rope here where it actually raises or lowers the thing. You see he used some chain to do that a little stronger. And so it can be adjusted in different places. I have it set up here at the bottom so that the shoe runs a little higher on both ends. The only thing that was wrong with it when I got it from him was that the swath board was broken. But he did have this piece right here, the end of it with the attaching plate. So I made the rest of it, and I think it looks pretty good. Kind of matches up. And you can see how it works here. So that's pretty much it for this mower. It's a good piece. Every once in a while you might see one. I should have bought one a couple of years ago just for the parts that came up at auction, but I didn't do it. Bid on it, but I didn't bid enough. Anyway, it's a nice little piece. Now this tractor, I've been working on a little bit here. I don't know if you've seen this in the pictures, but I've been working on rubbing out the paint on the thing. It has an original paint job, it's never been touched, and it was really dingy and kind of rusty looking. I got some rubbing compound and just kept working with it, and it looks pretty good in different spots. Anyway, I got a little bit more work to do there, but it's cleaned up enough to look a little bit better than it has been. This tractor is a 1957 model, and it's got a lot of interesting features on it for an Oliver Super 77 of that era. First of all, it does have power steering. I think that was added on later. Looks like it was, because they put this flap up here that you can see to get into the power steering reservoir. Most of these, if they came from the factory, they had a power steering unit that ran off the generator right in here. So anyway, but it does have power steering. It's got these really nice toolboxes and attachments. You can see them more here from the rear. And they're very handy as both steps and as toolboxes. This one is where I keep the most in there because you can get into it easily. It has dual remotes. You can actually run two different cylinders off this, two-way cylinders. It's got live power takeoff. You'll see that in a second. I did rebuild the seat. The seat was all lopsided. The people that had it before me really abused this tractor, and I had actually owned this tractor for 17 years. I bought it originally in 1985, kept it until about 2002. Sold it to a friend of mine who I kept it for a couple of years, and then he sold it to a farming family down the road who, as I said, really used it and abused it. And when I gave up some of my ground, they wanted to rent that ground, and I said, the only way you're going to get it is you have to sell that old Oliver Super 77 back to me, which they did. And I had to redo the engine, rebuild this seat, a lot of things on it. It's got other features too. It has a tack. I put that on there originally back in 1985. The tack probably should be mounted down here. That's where they normally put it, but it was too hard to read. And so I moved it up there, took the light, dash light out and put it in that particular spot. All the lights work, has a really nice little tail light. Doesn't give you much warning, but at least it works. It has spin out hubs, which is very unique for an Oliver. I haven't seen too many of them with this, and of course has the wheel weights too, which are worth something. So 10's good, runs great, power steering, has this little hitch in the front. Used to push a lot of wagons around with this. So yeah, it's a good little tractor. So you'll get a good view of it here. Got the umbrella on it today because it's going to be a little hot out here, I think. And so I'm going to hop on there and get started. Should be ready to go. Once I get on here, I'll quit talking, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this video.